Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. It's another paid request, this time for Bronson. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And Bronson wanted me to look at the 1998 film Jack Frost, starring Michael Keaton. Not to be confused with the horror film that came out a year before or so, Jack Frost, which I gotta be honest, I thought that film was way better than this film. Does that one, yes, it's goofy and silly, but it's a snowman slasher film with some really cringe but kind of so bad they're funny lines. Some effects that are funny to watch for its low budget, and it's fucked with Shannon Doherty naked in a shower, possibly with a carrot. Definitely something you don't see every day or every month, so that's not too bad. This one, it's Michael Keaton. And from what I understand, it was originally going to be George Clooney, but he said no to this. Which is funny, then he probably went on to do something like Batman and Robin. Because that was 97, technically this came out in 98, but it was in that time period. And if that's the case, he dodged one bullet to take another bullet. So Michael Keaton is a guy who's literally named Jack Frost. Now, granted, they do make fun of the fact he's named that later on, but still, like, he's literally named Jack Frost. And he's married to Kelly Preston. May she rest in peace. John Travolta's was John Travolta's wife. She was in the movie Twins with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito. Sadly, she's passed away. And then they have a son. Michael Keaton is part of this band, harmonica rock band, and he's a loving father. He's a good husband, but he's just rarely home. And when he's home, he gets along well with his kid. They even build a snowman. But again, many times he's in the studio, workaholic. There's even a bit where his kid's getting fucked up in hockey. Keaton was supposed to teach him a trick or two, didn't, because he didn't have time. And it cuts between the kid getting fucked up at hockey and Michael Keaton working in the studio. So, yet again, Keaton's about ready to go on the road, but then in the middle of being driven, he's like, you know what? My family's at the cabin, not this time, and decides to go back and spend this time, Christmas time, with his family. But on the way back, there's a blizzard. He's driving way too damn fast. Goes off the cliff, off the road, however, dies. And then there's about 30 minutes in the film, it feels like. Maybe not technically, but it feels like it takes a while to get going. And then it's 1 year later. The kid is not handling it well. He's shoveling snow. Snow just blasted on him because the guy's an asshole with his fucking truck. Mr. Snowplow. Maybe just fuck you, guy. Get your ass plowed somewhere, Bukkake style, on your ass, you fucking toad. Low to earth turd. But he doesn't say that because he's a good kid. And he's like ready to break down. His mom's there. It's been a shit time. He even does build a snowman. And he has a harmonica his dad gave him, saying, hey, if you ever need me, play this harmonica. He plays it, and apparently it's a magic harmonica, or whatever the hell, because then Michael Keaton comes back as a snowman. And it's either done by CGI, by ILM, or some puppetry by Jim Henson. Now, I was not a fan of this movie. First and foremost, I love Michael Keaton. I think he was severely miscast in this. I do. He just did not fit. I thought as, you know, when he was human, he was very low-key, subdued, and I would autopilot. I really felt like Michael Keaton was on autopilot. It really felt like he didn't give a fuck to be there. Maybe he did, but he kind of just going through the motions, and he's talking with his kid, and he's trying to have this tone of voice, and yeah, I'm doing it, but he just, I didn't feel any heart to his performance. I didn't feel any gusto to his performance. Not in the slightest. Now, there have been bad films that Michael Keaton's been good in, Desperate Measures being one of them. This is, to me, a very lame family movie with either disinterested Michael Keaton, or when he's voicing the Frosty, when he's voicing the snowman, I didn't really buy in his performance. It just felt like he didn't fit. There are times that it seemed like the kid should be more scared, or more frightened, or more energetic, and then Michael Keaton's still giving that kind of, tone of voice, as if not a whole lot's bothering him. And once in a while he has a little bit of emotion, and it doesn't last long, and maybe just Michael Keaton's voice just isn't the right fit for a snowman character, and it just has this kind of, just seemed off. It sounded just, I didn't buy into the character, didn't buy into the role. I just didn't. And so not only was I not that gung-ho about Michael Keaton's performance, the rest of the movie, like I said, it's trying to have this build-up of these characters, but at the same time, I can't say I really gave a whole lot of shit. And then when the event happens and he comes back, the CGI portions don't hold up that well today. Like, there's a bit where he's moving and he's supposed to be throwing all these snowballs and retro time. Looks very off in today's age, that CGI. And the practical, I appreciate that there's practical. I kind of think it looks neat at times. But it does look like something that would be on Sesame Street or the Muppets. Just Muppet Space is Jim Henson, but I think it's very hard to make a live action snowman that doesn't creep some people out. I think maybe that's why I worked as a horror villain in Jack Frost, the movie before this. But it's one of those things where I know a lot of people hated the practical puppetry of it. I can't say I hated. I still thought it looked neat enough. Yeah, I appreciate the puppetry, animatronic, however they used it for it. I do appreciate that they tried to use a lot of it. It wasn't just mostly CGI. And actually, let me get some light in this. There were light, but then it get darker. So I do appreciate that. It shows how interested I am in the movie, that I'm walking away from the camera. But this is one of those movies that I'm sure if you have kids, you can watch it during Christmas time, and you can have a good time. You say it's harmless, but at the end, when the first third of the movie, there's really nothing that makes it unique or special. It's just, okay, he's a dad that works a lot. He's doing okay with his kid. He goes back, he dies. It's pretty much it. There's nothing that really stands out performance-wise, creativity-wise, or even energetic pep in its step. And then Keaton seemed like he was on autopilot. I would say, honestly, this is probably one of the weakest performances I've seen from Michael Keaton in the heyday, so to speak. And I said, I don't know if he was the right pick for this job. I just don't know. I mean, who? I don't have to think about who else could have been right for the job, but just like I said, when he comes alive, he has these very nonchalant reactions. Like, he finds out he's a snowman, and the way he reacts is as if he'd probably react better or more emotional if he got a IRS letter in the mail or something. Just like, can you react a little bit more mad, angry, sad? What the hell? But just very nonchalant reactions. I thought that was very weird. Or even soon after he's hit with a snowplow and he's put into this snow bank and he's falling apart. And he says some line about having a separation disorder or separation something that it didn't really work. That's the thing. It's not that funny of a movie with the lines of dialogue it has. And I'm sitting there going, why aren't you more freaked out? Why aren't you more emotional? What the hell, Michael Keaton? Or maybe he was just not directed that well during the voice acting sections. He doesn't want to tell anybody that he's alive and what's going on. And Henry Rollins is in the film. He's only there to be driving something. Michael Keaton say, hey, how's it going? And that's like one of the few times Michael Keaton does a decent job as the snowman is, hey, where you going? It's funny, he doesn't get excited when or scared or emotional when he finds out he's a snowman, or even when he gets pushed to a bank, snow bank. But when he sees Henry Rollins, I guess I don't blame him. If I see Henry Rollins, I'm like, hey, Henry, how's it going? And why is it Henry Rollins? And why does he have, like, nothing to do? And I don't even think he had any dialogue. Like, why did you cast Henry Rollins and then give him nothing to do other than look scared and drive away? Seems like a waste of Henry Rollins. That could have been anybody. And I was mentioning the dialogue. Like, you have dialogue where eventually the kid finds out, and then eventually the kid believes that it is his dad. And because we spent so much time on build-up, there's not a whole lot of time for a payoff. It's pretty much, hey, the kid's being picked on with snowballs, so Jack Frost throws some snowballs. They get into a chase where they're going sliding down the mountain. Michael Keaton lands, and he'll have dialogue like, my balls are freezing, and I never thought I'd say that with a smile on my face. And this is a kid's movie. My balls are freezing, well, I never thought I'd say it with a smile on my face. I mean, I'm sure kids, hey kids, you ever heard, you know what balls are? It's this thing between your, I have to imagine how many kids go, Dad, what does he mean by that? And the dad's going, shit, I gotta explain. See, your balls are, you see your dick. That thing between. Or, okay, these are the lines. Sometimes it's good to have a big butt, because the two balls land on the third one. Or, you the man. No, I'm the snowman. And they have almost as many ice puns as fucking Mr. Freeze does in Batman and Robin. You need to chill. Don't have a meltdown. I like they have this bully. I guess this bully doesn't have a dad. So there are times that the kid's trying to talk to the bully. And out of the blue, the kid goes, you know what it's like to not have a dad. And you think the bully's like, oh, punch him in the face for bringing shit like that up. Instead he goes, yeah, it sucks. It sucks big time. And probably the creme de la creme of lines. What was it? I want to make sure I get this right. Having a snow dad is better than having no dad. I'm sitting there going, what? Jesus Christ. I'm like, oh my fucking god, man. That's the line. Snow dad's better than no dad. Snow dad's better than no dad. Oh shit. So again, it's either the sledding scene, then him teaching his kid how to play hockey for a bit, then him getting through hot asphalt, sunbeaming down to watch his kid play hockey. Then the kid's like, we need to get you. And the bully helps. Until ultimately the mom finds out what's going on, goes to the cabin. They say goodbye. And this is what I'm talking about with the emotions, the acting, the way this is showcased. Think of the movie Ghost. When they have the goodbye. When the love of his life finally sees him. And you see the look on Demi Moore's face. You hear the music that's playing. You see Patrick Swayze. And the way it's done in this ghostly form. And that was done like years, 8 or so years before this. It's done so much better. It's better filmed. It looks better. It's better acted. There's more an emotional core to it. Well, here it falls so fucking flat. I think Kelly Preston is doing the best that she can. She might not have the best director, though, to guide her. Michael Keaton, like I said, I think a lot of this film, he's on autopilot. I guarantee you looked at this and go, it's a paycheck. Okay. Because again, he wasn't even the first choice. Like, from what I understand, the reason they made the snowman look like that was because originally it was supposed to be George Clooney. And so they tried to make the snowman kind of look like George Clooney. So, okay, I'll take it, you know. Well, got a good paycheck. And then the way Michael Keaton's ghostly form looks. I mean, how does it look better in a movie years before, like Ghost? And here it just looks a bit cheap. I also love how when he leaves, you hear his voice go, I will always hear you. I mean, that sounds like a threat. Again, Michael Keaton's voice, maybe because he has that voice, you know, Batman or Beetlejuice. So he's like, I will always hear you. Sounds more scary than enlightening or endearing. It sounds like, I will always hear you. I'm gonna find you. I'm gonna kill you. So it's too much build up with not enough payoff. It's lacks as it's trying to have an emotional core, but I think it's severely lacking. Again, you look at films like Starman, like Ghost, like other movies that showcase that a lot better directed. The music here is completely forgettable. The CGI effects do not hold up that well. The Jim Henson suit, I liked it, but I can see why people think it's a bit creepy looking. I can get it. But I'm a sucker for that kind of practical suit work. It's nice to see Kelly Preston, but she doesn't have a whole lot to do throughout the film. The kid is alright. Michael Keaton. It's just that the plot didn't feel like, after the build up, it felt like it didn't have nowhere much to go. You think it maybe be a longer time period, like okay, it's the winter time, so maybe here's a week. It feels like everything takes place within the same day. I just technically it's at night, and then the next morning, and pretty much within that one day everything happens, and it just feels like not a lot. I don't know. There's not a lot of big set pieces for a movie that cost quite a bit of money. Like when you spend, what was it, they say from like 30, 40 million, but then they go up to like 80, 85 million. And more than likely it's probably going to be the higher budget. When you spend that much money, you think there's going to be some pretty big set pieces. Not a whole lot other than maybe the sledding scene. And I know there are people that do enjoy the film, and again, you watch with your kids, enjoy during the Christmas season. Check out the other Jeff Frost. Maybe they enjoy that Christmas season. Again, when even Michael Keaton seems bored with it, or nonchalant, not every second, but a good chunk of his performance, and in the constant ice cold puns, the emotional core that didn't feel genuine, it just fell flat. The idea what it was trying to do, but just didn't work at all, sadly. It is what it is. And yeah, I wasn't a fan. Never been a fan of this film. With that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.